I'm Teisha Bader with Shalom TV's news update for Tuesday, June the 10th, 2014. Likud party veteran Ruby Rivlin has been declared the 10th president of Israel. As you may have seen on IBA News, Rivlin was declared the winner of the presidential race in Israel today after 2 rounds of votes at the Knesset, the first in which 3 of the other candidates were eliminated after they did not receive enough votes. They were former Supreme Court Justice Dalia Dorner, who received 13 votes, former Knesset Speaker Dalia Itzik, who received 28 votes, and Nobel laureate Professor Dan Shechtman, who received 1 vote. Rivlin got the most votes in that first round with 44, Mayor Shitrit with 31. Rivlin and Shitrit then squared off in a second round where Rivlin won 63 votes and Shitrit 53. Over his almost 20 years in the Knesset, Rivlin has served as the Minister of Communications and the Speaker of the Knesset. He was also the Deputy Mayor of Jerusalem. Upon his win, Rivlin said that after years of being a politician, it was now time to be a man of the nation. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu congratulated Rivlin on his victory. He told the president-elect, "As a man of the land of Israel and Israel's first citizen, you have 2 missions: to bring all the parts of the society together and to represent Israel to the world." And Jewish leaders here in the U.S. sent their good wishes to Rivlin today. World Jewish Congress President Ronald Lauder called the president-elect a man of conviction who personifies the values of the Jewish state. Lauder also praised outgoing President Shimon Peres, saying he has elevated the office of President of the State of Israel to the highest possible level. Lauder said of Peres, his tenure was exemplary and he has probably been the best head of state Israel has ever had. His appeal in the entire Jewish world was unsurpassed, and his departure from frontline politics will be the end of an era. B'nai B'rith Canada CEO Frank Diamond praised Israel for its strong democracy and said of Rivlin, as a principled man with strong convictions, Mr. Rivlin will undoubtedly use his new role to defend the Jewish state, both at home and abroad. Ruby Rivlin will be sworn in as Israel's new president on July the 24th, replacing outgoing President Peres. And staying with Peres, before leaving Rome after partaking in a ceremony for peace at the Vatican on Sunday, the Israeli president bestowed Israel's highest civilian honor on the president of Italy yesterday. Giorgio Napolitano was presented by Peres with the Presidential Medal of Distinction in honor of his commitment to the state of Israel and the Jewish people. The Prime Minister of Hungary has responded to calls from U.S. lawmakers to reconsider a controversial monument in Budapest commemorating the Nazi occupation of Hungary. As you may recall, New York Congressman Eliot Engel spearheaded a letter signed by 29 senators and representatives in calling on Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban to reconsider his current plans for the construction of the monument, which depicts Hungary as the Archangel Gabriel, meant as a symbol of Hungary's innocence during World War II, swept down upon by Germany's imperial eagle. Engel wrote in the letter that the monument does not tell the entire Hungarian narrative of the Nazi occupation and is an attempt to whitewash the truth, namely the pro-Nazi Hungarian government's role in the deportation of more than 500,000 Hungarian Jews during the Holocaust, most of whom were murdered at Auschwitz. Orban has now responded to the letter, thanking the U.S. for its friendship and attention, but saying that the monument is not a Holocaust memorial, but is rather, quote, a freedom-fighting people's memorial of the pain of having its liberty crushed. Orban said the monument pays tribute to the loss of Hungary's national sovereignty and its tragic consequences. The Jerusalem Post reports that tourism in Israel is at record levels for 2014. Israel's tourism minister credited the recent papal visit to Israel as one of the strong factors of the rise. Dr. Uzi Landau said he hoped that the record for incoming tourism into Israel will be broken again this year. According to the Central Bureau of Statistics, tourist entries into Israel are up by 17% for the first quarter of 2014, with 1.5 million visiting between January and May this year, marking an increase in tourism by 13% over figures for the same time period in 2013, 19% more than 2012, and 24% more than 2011. And turning now to our Shalom TV programming for tonight, Tuesday, June the 10th. Coming up after the news, Vice President for the New Initiatives at the Woodrow Wilson International Center, Aaron David Miller, talks with Mark Golub about the new Palestinian Unity Government. That's on Shalom TV's In the News. Later at 8 o'clock, Adam Schwartz of the Jacobs Technion Cornell Innovation Institute and Michal Michaeli of Ava Ventures discuss the next frontier of Israeli high-tech with Ethan Bronner of the New York Times. That's from the UJA Federation of New York's Upper West Side Celebrates Israel at the JCC of Manhattan. And then at 9 o'clock on L'Chaim, co-founder of Space IL, Kfir Damari, talks about his nonprofit, which is looking to land the first Israeli spacecraft on the moon and compete to win Google's Lunar X Prize. That's tonight here on Shalom TV and ShalomTV.com. And that's Shalom TV's news update for Tuesday, June the 10th, 2014. I'm Teisha Bader.